Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at CRISPR Therapeutics. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I'll most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. And in the case of this chart, unfortunately, I would consider that we are dealing with an overall bearish structure. From the all-time low, we do have an uptrend. It can be even considered an established uptrend, but I can only see a three-wave pattern form within this area. I cannot reliably track a 5-wave move to the upside that would give us a high probability continuation after a 3-wave correction into the area of support. Now, does this mean it cannot go on to higher prices? Absolutely not. We can still track this. I can even provide you, in fact, an area of support for such an interpretation. And this would be at the levels between the $71.6 all the way down to the $22 level. But if we break below the 78.6% retracement, it will be another indication that this structure is even more likely to fail. And by the way, this is not to be considered as a high probability trade setup. I could maybe track something like this within a smaller time frame, but from this large time frame perspective, I would not be looking for high probability continuation in a larger uptrend. We have pretty much all the indications that this would not be the case, at least not at the moment, because we have an initial 3-wave move to the upside and I have a potential initial 5-wave move to the downside. So this is telling me that at the very least, I should be prepared after a 3-wave correction for at the very least another 5-wave move to the downside. Now, this doesn't even mean that we need to break the area of support, but we would need to be highly prepared for a reset of this correction that we could be tracking as a wave B, we could be tracking as a wave 2, part of a larger leading diagonal. Doesn't matter exactly for me. I will go on tracking this structure as an ABC movement to the upside. This is within the bullish scenario that assumes we will manage to hold the area of support and extend higher. But we would still need to be prepared for an internal extension within this correction, within this area, because as I was saying, we have a potential initial 5-wave move to the downside. This doesn't mean we need to break the area of support. We do still have plenty of room to complete a correction within it, but we need to be prepared for the extension. I wanted to repeat this because this is so important. I would expect at the moment to form a wave B in yellow. This is my preferred interpretation, and a reset of the wave B in white. We can manage to break the area of resistance. It is not impossible, but as long as we stay below this area, between the $64.4 all the way up to the $144 level, meaning we don't manage to get a sustained break above the 78.6% retracement in yellow, I will prefer continuation to lower prices from this time frame perspective. Again, initial 5-wave move to the downside, not a must, but could easily be considered as such. We expect a 3-wave correction into a wave B, and we expect continuation within, at the very least, another 5-wave move to the downside that once again can still manage to hold the area of support. And what actually makes this chart interesting is right here the smaller time frame, because while I don't expect more than a retracement in a wave B in yellow, we do have here a potential initial 5-wave move to the upside within this area. I would consider this to be a leading diagonal within which I would expect to at least complete this wave B. Now, could this be that we have a bottom already within the wave B and that we are in the larger wave C to the upside? Absolutely. I will be tracking this within a different interpretation, let's say blue, and I will be looking for continuation higher. But at the moment, this could work out within both scenarios. I would highly expect that we form a bottom within an area of support internally here and extend higher within at least a wave C. Could this form a wave 3 to the upside, even an impulse? Absolutely. We could even break the area of resistance. But until we actually get evidence and we get the sustained break above the $144 level, I will be, again, highly prepared for continuation lower. I try to reinforce all these points that I'm making because they are so important. I want you to listen carefully for the indications that tell us which way this structure is more likely to form, which pattern is more likely to manage to succeed in building the larger pattern, because these are subdivisions. From a smaller time frame perspective, we expect to extend higher. Now, does this wave B in yellow need to extend higher? No, we could manage to come up with a count that would consider a possible top already within the wave B. We could extend lower. From the large time frame perspective, we are preferring extensions lower, but there is a high probability or decently high probability. It's not necessarily an S tier trade setup, but it is a decent one in my opinion, and we can track continuation higher against this area of support internally in the blue interpretation. So we are watching the levels between the $54.6 all the way down to the $37 level at the 78.6% retracement. As long as we hold the 78.6% retracement in blue, we can still track continuation higher, and at the same time, a break below this last level of support would be an indication to us that we would need to be prepared for a more direct reset within this wave B in white. Possibly even a break of the area of support, since this would be quite a weak wave B, and the ideal target for the wave C would be the 100% extension of the wave A. In the case of the yellow interpretation, assuming we actually already have a top within the wave B, I would be watching the $10 level. That is actually even an all-time low, and even though that is just an ideal target and the wave C certainly doesn't need to get there, I would be extremely wary of any long position. On this chart, I wouldn't trust a long position until I get an initial 5-wave move to the upside. We have here such an opportunity. It is not a guarantee, it is an interesting area to look for a position if you are generally interested in this stock, but again, this is only interesting as long as we hold the area of support in blue. Breaking the 78.6% retracement in a sustained manner is a signal that the probabilities for continuation higher have heavily shifted and that we should be strongly prepared for a more significant top to be in place. Now we are done also with this time frame. We are looking for a correction in this wave B in a 3-wave pattern. Ideally, we are able to actually even count a potential initial 5-wave move to the downside within this area. I don't absolutely need to. We could have bottomed, I'm not denying this, but at the moment, the structure that has formed to the upside within this area isn't reliable. We only have a 3-wave pattern. I can track this as an ABC structure, or in an even larger scale, a larger ABC. And I would actually prefer a reset and to form a more reliable initial 5-wave move to the upside. Now, that would be another level of confirmation if we build such a pattern, because we will have another 1-2 setup to look internally within a larger wave C, or who knows, potentially even a wave 3. But right now, I prefer still continuation lower, and for this, I would be watching the levels between the $57.9 all the way up to the $70.6 level. We can actually track this within the yellow interpretation. It would assume a wave B top already in place, and we can look for something like a 1-2 setup, an A-B setup, doesn't matter exactly. We are focusing for continuation lower within this area. Let's say we track here an ABC structure, and if it is to have already topped within this wave B, we can even look for an ideal target in the next wave to the downside, and that would be the 100% extension of the wave A, the $37.3 level, very much in line with the 78.6% retracement we have here for the blue area. Now, if it is to form a wave 3, we would instead need to look for the $31 level, but it would already be a strong signal to us if we break the 78.6% retracement in a sustained manner. Now, of course, on the flip side, if we manage to break the resistance level at the $70.6 level, it would be a signal that this structure may have already formed the bottom and that the wave C to the upside could already be unfolding. I could provide you an ideal target even for such an idea, and this is pretty much the last thing I can actually provide on this chart at the moment. I don't believe we should necessarily look too much into even smaller structures. So here the ideal target for the wave C would be the $125.9 level, the 100% extension of the wave A. Although I want to remind you once again, these are ideal targets. We don't need to get there and we don't need to stop there. Now, as you may notice, this is quite substantial, over a 2x from the current level. So this can still be an interesting trade setup. This can still be an interesting chart here within this time frame of the blue scenario. But from a large time frame perspective, I would be extremely careful overall. But for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover. And I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.